Hey guys, this is Timothy from Master of Memory and Accelerated Spanish, and today I'm going to tell you my favorite joke, show you how your Spanish-speaking confidence can grow incredibly with just a small amount of focused work, and create and give away some personalized resources custom-made for 10 of you. First, the joke. Tres hombres están parados en la fila para ir al cielo. Pedro le dice a los hombres, bueno chicos, la regla hoy es que para entrar al cielo deben tener una historia de muerte realmente interesante. Entonces, ¿cuál es tu historia? A lo que el primer hombre responde, bueno, por un tiempo algunas cosas han estado desapareciendo continuamente de mi apartamento y deduje que uno de mis vecinos debía tener una copia de mi llave y debía estar robando el apartamento. Entonces hoy puse una trampa en mi puerta para que si alguien entraba a robar no sería capaz de volver a salir. Entonces volví a casa temprano para intentar atraparlo con las manos en la masa. Cuando entré en mi apartamento, en el piso 15, supe que alguien debía haber sido atrapado dentro. Sin embargo, revisé el apartamento entero y no pude encontrarlo por ningún sitio. Finalmente salí al balcón y efectivamente había un hombre colgando de la barandilla por los dedos, 15 pisos sobre el suelo. Para entonces yo estaba bastante molesto, por lo que pisé muy fuerte sus dedos. Él cayó inmediatamente, pero por suerte aterrizó en un árbol. Dentro de mi ira hice la única cosa en la que pude pensar. Corrí hasta la cocina, agarré la nevera y la tiré por el borde, donde lo golpeó y lo tiró fuera del árbol, creo, pero cuando tiré la nevera, el cable agarró mi muñeca, volcándome sobre el borde, y aquí estamos. Pedro dijo, wow, esa definitivamente es la historia de muerte más fascinante que he escuchado en todo el día. Y dejó entrar al hombre al cielo. El segundo hombre aparece y Pedro dice, entonces, ¿cuál es tu historia de muerte? ¿Es tan interesante como la de él? El segundo hombre responde, bueno, ha sido un día muy extraño. Verá, vivo en el piso 16 de mi edificio y hoy salí a mi balcón a regar mis plantas. Sin embargo, escuché muchos ruidos extraños de ira en el piso inferior y cuando me incliné sobre la barandilla para ver si podía ver qué estaba pasando, caí sobre el borde. Sin embargo, tuve suerte y quedé atrapado en el balcón debajo de mí. De repente, mi vecino se abalanzó sobre el balcón. Pensé que me iba a salvar, pero para mi sorpresa, me pisó los dedos. Caí, pero aterricé en un árbol. Cuando sucedió la cosa más loca, este demente arrojó su nevera sobre mí, tirándome fuera del árbol hasta mi muerte. Pedro dice, wow, esa es definitivamente una historia de muerte increíble. Puedes entrar. Cuando el tercer hombre se acerca, Pedro le dice, entonces, ¿cuál es tu historia de muerte? El hombre dice vacilante, bueno, verá, yo estaba escondido dentro de esta nevera. Okay, so what does that joke have to do with learning Spanish? Well, the thing is, after several weeks of living here in Buenos Aires, Argentina, I started mentally comparing my social experiences here, where my friends and I speak Spanish, to those in the US, where my friends and I all speak English. And something that occurred to me was that in order to be my authentic self here, I would need to improve my ability to do things that my friends know me for in the US, like telling jokes. As soon as I started telling some of my favorite jokes, but in Spanish here, including that refrigerator joke, I suddenly felt much more at home here in my Spanish-speaking life, and my perceived social value immediately went up enormously. Let's back up a little bit. In the previous video, we talked about improving your Spanish listening by focusing on the details of what makes up a language rather than listening passively to large quantities of information. Now, that's well and good, but what about speaking? Is there a way to imitate those details that you're listening to, those tiny nuances of the language, in order to perfect your speech and sound more and more like a native speaker, and to connect person to person as happens when someone successfully delivers a joke? The best technique to do this is to learn words and phrases within meaningful contexts, not just as individual words, but with flowing context around them. I'm going to tell you another story from earlier on in my Spanish journey. When I first moved to Buenos Aires, I was basically fluent in Spanish, but with some hesitation. I had to think a lot about what I was saying, significantly more than in English, and that's a normal stage during the learning process. We all go through that at some point while learning the language. The thing that happened was, I found myself telling the same stories over and over. I would retell the story of when I arrived and I ordered coffee and I couldn't tell what the guy was saying because he wasn't pronouncing his S's. I found myself saying that story a lot because I was talking about the unique Argentinian accent. But the result of saying these same stories over and over was I found that I could conjugate certain verbs certain ways without having to think about it at all, because I was used to doing those from having told that story in real life in high-pressure situations where you actually are talking to a real person, having used them that way over and over in those situations. Now, this is something to be used to advantage. When you can make all essential concepts second nature that way, so that you can simply deliver something without having to think about it, that's a huge leap toward approaching a native level of fluency. Now, if you can take, let's say, those idioms, the vocabulary, and everything that we mentioned in the previous video that you've gleaned from whatever resources you're using to practice your input skills, and you actually turn those into output, that's the best thing that you can do, because you're taking something in and also putting it out, improving both skills at the same time. So what I recommend doing is taking those phrases and everything like that and actually incorporating them into personal stories that you tell, or into jokes that you tell, or into anything that you happen to say with frequency when you're speaking in Spanish. That will convert those idioms and those verb conjugations and everything that you're trying to make second nature into something that you say very easily. There are two difficulties that happen when we try to do that. The first one is it's best when not you, but actually a native speaker polishes that script. It's best when a native speaking person, somebody who actually has grown up in the Spanish language, is able to write that out for you, or at least correct it, so that you are sure that you're not practicing something wrong. You're not making something second nature that's actually a slight error in the language. The second one is that it's best when you can hear a native speaker actually delivering that story so that you can imitate that closely and you know you're speaking with perfect phrasing, with perfect pronunciation. In the next video, I'm going to introduce you to a way that you can get your own personal scripts corrected or translated and recorded by native speakers on a regular basis for constant progress in improving your language skills. Plus, I'm going to give you access to our bank of Spanish jokes, resources for mastering Spanish songs, comics, films, and other media, all of that. I'm going to show you where we have that in the next video. But first, the free giveaway that I promised. Respond to the email where you received this video with a single paragraph of things that you consider important for you to be able to say easily. It might be something about yourself, just a description of your family and what you like to do. It might be an anecdote that you've found that you tell frequently, like the one that I told about trying to order coffee when I arrived in Argentina. Or it might just be your favorite joke. Send that to us, and for the first 10 people, my team of native-speaking coaches will translate it, whatever it is, up to about 200 words, into perfect idiomatic Spanish for you. And we'll get it recorded by a native-speaking male or female professional voice talent. We'll send both the text and the recording back to you for you to practice with. So respond with your paragraph And watch for the next video where I'll show you how to take your Spanish not only to the next level, but to a state of constant improvement so that you can approach a native level of fluency. Stay tuned.